Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In the next 20-25 minutes, I will try to give you an overview of what a science park is. Why? Because up to now, we discussed about startups and first investment, but you are creating a company to grow, not only to create a startup. Science parks are relevant for your growth. I will try to start with a theoretical definition, because science parks are different in different parts of the world. I will try to move to a more pragmatic definition of science park, trying to describe what the science parks are doing, and I will end with a presentation of the Italian network of science park. The starting point is a definition. Science parks are habitats. It means that they are ecosystem. They are not one building. They are different component of an ecosystem where a company could find all the different assets that they need to grow. They are focused in supporting new venture for the growth, but they are also conceived to support the growth of already existing companies. It means that they are a mixed environment. An incubator typically is composed by startups. A science park is composed by a wide range of organizations, starting from R&D units and ending with big multinational corporations. Science parks are a system. You can find in a science park different components, and all the components are linked. You will find companies, you will find training institutions, you will find financial institutions, you will find shared infrastructure, and you will find also in some science park incubators. It means that they are conceived to follow the growth of the company through the different steps of growth, from the startup to the scale up, to the entering into market, and to the way out of a science park, or to a merging and acquisition activity. In practical words, science parks are a smart sum of physical infrastructure, R&D labs, pilot plants, technology platform, and know-how and services. They are usually a mix of the two different elements. This is not common. In most of the world, science parks are only physical infrastructure. In Italy and in Europe in general, we try to add added value, offering to the companies high-tech services or consulting services that are conceived to match the need of the company. So we try to personalize the services. Why? Because we believe that our mission is to improve competitiveness of factors that are located in our premises. So doing that, we bench what we are doing with all the rest of the world, because we are in a global world, and we try to build a system that is competitive for the companies, but also for the rest of the territory, because in most of our cases we are participated by local public administration that are identifying science park as industrial policy tools to support the growth of some specific priorities in terms of sector. In doing that, we focus in medium to high tech usually. So we are a place where it's possible to find knowledge jobs. It means that in most of the science park, more than 70% of employee has a degree, and on average 50% could have a PhD. It means medium to high tech activities, medium to high tech jobs, medium to high tech employee, and an environment where you can find all the different counterparts to do business or to realize R&D activities. There are two main trends now in the science park world. The first one is the passage from the science park physical facility to the cluster environment, a wider network where proximity is no more important, but where there is a bigger amount of companies and actors. The second trend is toward a triple helix approach. Inside the science park, more and more you could find university, industry, and public authorities working together. But our main focus, is to nurture the growth of small and medium-sized companies. We are, from a conceptual point of view, a synergistic element of the entire value creation chain. We are working with incubators, we are working with investors, and we are trying to offer a solution for the scale-up issues of companies. Why it's important? Because in a science park we are creating a nice environment. The usual approach when you develop a company is the barrack approach. One is the general, there are a lot of soldiers, the organization is really formal, there is the so-called hero culture, and the biggest fear is to make mistake. In a science park we try to change such approach. We try to create an environment that is consensus driven. We are working with our lessees, we are working with the companies that are located inside the science park. It's an informal and open ecosystem, so we try to enter in contact with new counterparts. We are quite open in hiring the company for the science park. There is a mentoring culture. The success of the company that are inside the science park is the success of the science park, and we focus all our efforts in supporting company to explore and evaluate new opportunities. In doing that, you can find inside the science park 3 different assets. The structural asset, you will find facilities where you can grow. The relational asset, the science park is an hub. We have a huge network of contact with investors, other companies, consultants, and so on. And you could find human capital. We are in contact with universities, and the science park itself is a place where you can find the human capital. Obviously, this is a complex system. It's difficult to have all those assets in one single place, but we try to do that, and we try to create such quite unique ecosystem conceived to support the growth of the companies that are entering inside the ecosystem. In doing that, there is a quite standardized process. There is a first contact, there is an analysis, we will see later what the analysis is, there is a planning of the investment, there is the physical settlement of the company, there is a coaching program if necessary, there is a partnering activity. It means we are keen and focused to create a network of partners around the company. There is the scale up, and there is an eventual way out. Why eventual? Despite to the incubator where you can stay only for a limited period of time, a science park is not only an incubator. We have companies that are staying inside the science park all along their life. And we have also big corporations that are locating their R&D activities inside the science park. Such process is linked to our consultancy and coaching approach. I will focus on 2 different aspects. The first one is innovation. We try to support the company in identify new opportunities in terms of innovation. Usually when a company is entering in a science park is because they have or an innovative product or an innovative process. We try to support the company also in proposing the so-called paradigm innovation, or to change the positioning of the product that they already have on different market and segment. The second element that is interesting in a science park is the management of the risk. In every entrepreneur there is a fight between the need to exploit what they have and the interest to explore new ideas. This is risk from an entrepreneurial point of view. In a science park we try to follow and to coach the entrepreneurs, trying to reach a right balance between exploitation and exploration. In doing that, we support the entrepreneur in managing risk. Science parks are selective. It means that not all the business idea could enter in a science park. Usually, in general, science parks are trying to assess the ideas following internal and external factors. We try to evaluate technology, and we have in-house know-how in evaluating technology. We try to analyze the market. At the same time, we express an opinion on the team, such as an investor. We assess intellectual property, and we assess the opportunity in terms of growth of the company. What we are doing is a business triage. We define the potential for innovation, we understand the value, and we try to understand the competitive advantage. Only if the company passed the triage could start the feasibility study, that is the document that permits a company to enter in a science park. Obviously, this is only the starting point of a long journey. We try to support the company in assembling resources, in exploiting the opportunity, and we follow the company in their growth. It is clear that the physical component of a science park probably is the thing that could interest a company. We are an interface between local administration and the company. It means that we can facilitate the creation of lab or pilot plant. We support the company in all the contact with public administration, both for authorization, but also to present projects for national funding. We manage the investment. It means that the company could focus on their core business and core interest. We manage the facility. It means that the company has to forget all the problems that are not linked to their core activities. We have consultancy capabilities, and we try to support the networking of the company with all the different stakeholders that are necessary. In Italy, we have an association that is linking all the organizations that are following such approach. The organization is APSTI, Italian Association of Science Park. We are working in a quite interesting ecosystem. We are competitive. We have a fragmentation of our ecosystem that is a problem but also an opportunity because it's bringing resilience. We have a strong component of companies inside a science park that are startups. More or less 30% of the total startup in high-tech sector are located inside science parks. We are a hub, we are a key hub between the different regional authorities, national authorities, and the world of industry. We are conceived to support the company and to focus on growth. It means that we are not only focused on the starting moment of the company. This is for us only the starting point of a long journey that has to be long to be successful. We are located more or less in every single region in Italy. Inside APSTI we have 25 different science parks covering all the different industrial sectors from biotech to agro-food, passing through mechatronics, textile, and so on. It means that you are working both on medium and on a high-tech sector, and we try to offer more or less the similar service package. Know-how, we are working with our capability to offer know-how in scientific field, in managerial field, in marketing field. We are offer different typology of infrastructure, from co-working facility to pilot plant and R&D lab, and we can offer to all the companies all our network that is regional, national, European, and international. As a sum, we host more than 150 R&D centers, more than 11,000 employees, more than 4,500 employees only in R&D. It means that inside Science Park we are not hosting only R&D activity, but also pilot production activity or services. We are covering all the value chain from the research to the market. We can offer labs, we can offer consultancy to better package the business idea. We network the idea with other companies or investors. We can support fundraising. We can support company acceleration. We can support technology transfer between university and the companies located inside the park. And last but not least, we can follow and support the growth of the company up to the final market. We are not alone, we are working with other partners. We are quite open as association. We have contact with other associations in the field of startups and spin-off, but we are also linked to international associations such as the International Association of Science Park. Our value proposition is quite simple to explain. We are focused on companies, so our goal is to support the growth of the company. We are focused on development because we are also focused on the development of the territory where we are located. We are global. We have a global network all around the world. And last but not least, we are focused on innovation, medium to high-tech innovation. This is our focus. Obviously, innovation doesn't mean traditional sector. We have companies working in agro-food that are absolutely innovative. We are a company working in textile that are absolutely innovative. Innovation for us is a general term that has to be assessed for every single company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, as usual, our Italia Startup VISA holders tend to be very shy at the beginning, but then when I start breaking the ice and make some questions, usually they start making their own ones. So I have a few questions for you. The first one quite sound a little bit harsh, but I want to be very straightforward and pragmatic. So let's say I am a startup visa recipient. I'm about to start my innovative startup, or I have already done so. Why should I get in touch with Technology and Science Park?
Obviously, the question has to be general, and the answer has to be general. In general terms, if your company is a company that needs physical spaces, it means R&D lab or pilot plant, it means contact with big company in one specific sector, it means network with public stakeholders, Science Park could be an interesting option. Could be an interesting option also because the position of the Science Park inside the value chain is just after the starting moment. We are the scale-up option for a company more than a startup option. It is depending on the company and on the business. Usually, if your company is a, let's say, time-limited company, I'm creating an app, but my goal is to be acquired by Microsoft. Science Park are not an option. But if you are, I don't know, a mechatronic company willing to create and produce a new smartwatch, or a biotech company willing to reach the phase 2 of clinical development, or a medtech company willing to have a prototype for the human trial, Science Park is the option.
Makes sense. Thank you. So maybe you said it already before. Sorry if you already did, but I would like to make sure that the Italia Startup VISA holders know about it. So how many technology and science parks are there in Italy, and how are they distributed geographically?
Yeah, we are inside the Science Park Association. We are 25 different science parks located in probably 15 different Italian regions. We have probably 10 science park more, not member of the Italian association, that they are concentrated usually in south of Italy and north of Italy, more than in center of Italy.
Okay, I will be more specific. Can you tell us something, very briefly of course, about technology and science parks in the Lombardy region,
Yeah.
Piedmont and Campania?
Okay.
Why? Of course, because these are the places where
Okay.
our startup visa holders are.
I will start with Campania. In Campania there are, if I remember, 2 different science parks located near Naples. The first one is Tecnapoli and the second one is Città della Scienza. Our Tecnapoli is more a semi-virtual science park, is more focused in offering know-how to the company, and it has some agreement with physical facility towards the company. Città della Scienza has also an incubator inside their facilities. They are 2 generalistic science parks. In Lombardy there are, if I remember, 7 or 6 science park. I can count in reality 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 science park. They are specialized science park. It means that every science park decided to focus on one single sector or a priority. Only to give an example, Science Park Lodi, that is now the science park that is hosting the General Secretariat of Italian Association of Science Park, is specialized in agro-food. Uninsubria in the north west of Lombardy specialized in healthcare, and Pavia, that is in the south west of Lombardy, is specialized in ICT and mechatronics. They are usually public-private partnership. It means that the managing company are a smart sum of private and public shareholder, where private shareholder are usually the minority. Piedmont, the region from where I came, has at that moment 3 different science parks, one specialized in telecommunication and energy, clean tech. The second one, environment park, specialized in clean tech and energy another time, and environment obviously. And the last one, my science park, bioindustry park, is specialized on a health. It's not specialized on a specific technological sector, but on a market. Health is a quite complex market that range from pharmaceutical companies to service provider. All the science parks are public-private organization. Only to give an example of my science park, we have in our governance 2 big multinational corporations, Merck AG, a 17 billion euro pharma company, and Bracco Imaging, an Italian 1.7 billion euro company, and our region and our intermediate administrative body called the Città Metropolitana. This is quite a normal governance system for the science park in Italy. In the south, usually they are 100% private. In the north, they are usually a private-public partnership.
Okay, that's great description. So we have very specific questions from Startup Visa holders. The first one comes from Arthur Velf, Ukraine. In your opinion, which Italian universities have a strong position in the shoe fashion research industry? Let me tell you, while you think about the answer, I will give you a brief overview about why this question. Arthur intends to create a startup that scans feet, because each of us have different sizes of feet, and he wants to connect the scanning file of the feet with local artisans that can make shoes, tailor-made shoes out of these scannings. So he's based not far from Naples, maybe Salerno, yes? And so, do you have any tip about contacts?
Yes, my suggestion is to move in another region, Marche region. In the Fermo area, there is the highest concentration of shoe producer. And that could be an interesting tip, because as I know, in the Ancona University there is a part of the university that is working with the craft shop. Otherwise, another suggestion is to try to analyze the activity inside the 2 biggest polytechnic in Italy, Milano and Torino, because I'm sure that you will find someone working on their field, maybe not on shoes, but in the crossroad between fashion and technology. Last but not least, there are specialized institutions in Italy in design, such as IED, or there are professional schools working both before the university or in parallel to university that are working on fashion. To be honest, I will need more information.
Anyway, Naples is not a bad choice because there is a district.
Naples has a district. It is depending on the technology that is developing,
yeah, sure.
to be honest.
I think it's about leather shoes, but I'm not so sure about that. Maybe you wanted to add something. Can you repeat, please, so that we make sure that they listen to what you just said? Where is that clusters?
There is Arzano and Naples in general that has a very strong segment in shoe manufacturing, very high quality. So maybe it's because our friend decided to locate just there.
Sure.
I have a question for Fabrizio. Can you please detail the mentoring services that Science Park offer?
Yeah. Usually when we locate a company inside a science park, we try to locate the company for a really long period. It means that we try to create an offer for the company that fulfill the need of the company for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. It means that we have to do two different activities. The first one is to understand exactly the business of the company, and this is the reason why some science parks are specialized. But the second one, to identify the weakness of the company. It means that we try to identify all the risk factor in terms of business risk that could affect the growth of the company. Why we are doing that? Because usually when a company locates themselves inside a science park, the science park is investing with the company. Only to give an example, we just locate inside the science park a French startup. They are working medtech. They are working trying to build a new cardiac valves. What we are doing with such startup is to follow the startup, trying to match their need to create a pilot plant. A pilot plant in medtech is 1.2, 1.3 million euro. They have raised the money in France, but obviously they are willing to dilute the investment in a long period of time. It means that we have to anticipate part of the investment. To manage such risk, we need to know the company. Once that we know the company, we can build, let's say, a mentoring process, trying to support the company to overcome the barrier that we identify for the growth. It's not a coaching system or a coaching approach such as the typical approach inside an incubator. It's something of different because we are selling, let's say, that kind of coaching approach is inside the renting cost in reality. But it's something that it's moving with the company in the future. It means that it's changing every year following the growth of the company. It's more a personalized consultancy approach than a standardized coaching approach. We are not doing training, for example. We expect that the company that are entering inside the science park have already all the training in terms of entrepreneurial skills. We are adding experience, we are adding expertise, we are adding key consultant. It's something of complementary and different at the same time.
So, 3 more questions. So let's try to be very straightforward. So the first one is actually a tiny one. If you have any name of science and technology park specialized in TLC in Naples, or I would add somewhere else around Naples, in Campania, or in Italy in general.
Okay, in Naples both Tecnapoli and Città della Scienza have know-how in ICT. Otherwise, my suggestion is to contact in Campania the regional agency, Campania Innovazione, that has all the contact with all the solutions in terms of ICT support in their region. Other science park working on ICT in the south of Italy, I can suggest Tecnopolis in Puglia. They have good know-how in ICT, but in general all the science park, also the specialized science park, have know-how in ICT, or they know someone that could help a company in ICT. ICT is an horizontal technology, so more or less is present everywhere.
Okay, second one, this is from Lalit Gautam. The question is, can only companies knock at science technologies parks doors, or also single individuals? So is this yeah,
it could be also single individuals, but they have to be willing to create a company or to become consultant. It means that inside the science park we host also consultants. Why? Because we need to offer to our companies all the different assets that they need, including expertise. So if you are an individual with a business idea, we can support you. In the worst hypothesis, we can suggest you to go in an incubator. Or if you are willing to create a consultancy company or consultancy activity, we could be your counterpart.
Okay, some logistical questions. The first one is again from Lalit Gautam. So he was asking whether it is possible for him and the other ISV holders to get the slides of this presentation, of this webinar? The answer once again is yes. In the next few hours we'll send you all the presentations, don't worry. And the second one is from Arpin Bhagat, whom we have the honor to welcome here. He comes from Nepal, so I'm moved every time I'm in touch with him. And he came from here from so far away, and his question is whether it is possible to get the recordings of this webinar session. Once again, the answer is yes, just you'll need to be a little bit patient, and they will be sent to you within a few weeks. Lalit has another question. He says he's working in sustainable textile fashion startup with climate-friendly and recyclable fabrics. Which science park do you recommend?
It's a mix of different technologies.
Yes, sustainable textile fashion and climate-friendly and recyclable fabrics.
About the climate, it could be environment park. In Piedmont, it's specialized in all the technology linked to environment. About textile, more than a science park, my suggestion is to try to keep in touch with another dimension, that is the so-called innovation cluster. There are a couple of innovation clusters in Italy that are specialized on textile. One is in Prato, the second one is in Biella.
Prato, Tuscany, and Biella, Piedmont.
I have a good contact with my friend in Biella. I can pass the contact in order to share without any problem.
Yeah, let me just remind you that you have his email address at the very last slide of his presentation.
Maybe Aster can be a good contact.
Maybe Aster, but for textile, I don't know.
Carpi.
Maybe.
Okay. We have Andrei. Andrei, who are you? I forgot your surname. Can you please type it? So I would like to know which Andrei you are, because there are many ones. So your question is, are there any industry or regional statistics available for the Italian market?
In which sector?
In which sector? You're right. I don't know. Probably he meant, I don't know. Andrei, so further to your surname, please specify better also your question, thanks. And any other question left?
Anyway, the national statistics are at Istat.
Yeah, the Italian.
They're very general, they cover all the economics fields, but if you specify, it's better.
Yeah, while Andrei tells us his surname and further specifies his question, I answer to Lalit again. Lalit said that he missed the answer to his previous question due to disconnection of internet. So he hopes that he will get it during the recording. I don't know to which specific question you're referring to, because you made many, but sure, you will get the recordings in a few weeks. Any tip that you would like to give to Italia Startup VISA holders before we finish?
My suggestion is that if you locate your activity in Italy, you have to think in perspective. And you are to think what you are willing to do after your first step in the Italian ground. We are in Europe, and we can act as entry point for other European countries. This is something that as a science park we are trying to support. Most of our companies have no local market, have global market. And this is my suggestion, to think bigger and to start from the scratch to think about your growth, not only about your starting point.
Okay. The very last one, what are, in your opinion, well, we have another question from Danish. Do you have any directory contact details of ISV holders, just to contact and discuss our experience with them? Well, actually, we carried out a survey last spring, and we asked to all of you whether you're available or not for sharing your contacts with other ISV holders. 99% of you said yes. So, well, maybe 95, not 99. as Roberto suggests. So sure, Danish will share the contacts of other ISV holders with you, at least the ones that that gave their availability. You're wondering why you didn't get the survey? Well, it's because at that time you were just about to get the visa, and the survey was addressed just to people that had taken the visa since at least half a year. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for your attention. Let me just remind you that the slideshow presentations will be shared with you in the next few hours. Rehearsals of this webinar too, but you need to be more patient. You will need to wait a few weeks before you get them. And what else? Yes, so next appointment is next Tuesday, the 27th, when other important issues will be dealt with. First of all, you will get to know lawyers that have hands-on experience with fiscal matters, very important stuff. Also experts of corporate law, immigration law experts, and you will also have the chance to get to know a representative from Infocamere, that is the IT company from the Italian Chambers of Commerce Association, and he will be able to provide information about the new procedure to incorporate startups online and free of charge. So that's very concrete and very important for you. Let me thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and once again, thank you very much.